You get left out of a group chat, nobody says anything cruel, nobody even mentions your name, and yet something in your chest tightens, like you got hit. That's strange, isn't it? Nothing touched you. No one raised a hand, but your body reacted like it did. Here's the part that sounds impossible. Your brain barely tells the difference between social rejection and actual physical pain. Not metaphorically, not as a figure of speech. Almost literally, the same circuitry lights up for both. So why would being excluded feel like being hurt? Think about the last time you got a text back that felt cold, short, distant, maybe just a K. You probably reread it a few times, searching for a tone that wasn't there. That searching feeling, that low ache sitting somewhere behind your ribs, is not you being dramatic. It's a real signal, produced by a real system in your brain, and that system did not evolve to make you suffer for no reason. It evolved to keep you alive. For almost all of human history, being cut off from your group wasn't an inconvenience. It was closer to a death sentence. There was no smartphone to call for help, no neighboring town to walk to, no backup plan waiting in the wings. If your group decided you were out in every sense that mattered. No food sharing when hunts failed, no protection at night, no one to notice if you got sick or hurt and needed help. Survival was never really an individual project. It was a group project, run by people who depended on each other in ways that are hard to picture now. Being pushed out of that group was often the beginning of the end. So your brain needed a way to flag social danger with the same urgency as physical danger. It's not that evolution built a brand new alarm system just for this. It repurposed one that already existed. That system is often called the pain network, and a key part of it lives in a region called the anterior cingulate cortex. You don't need to remember the name. Just think of it as your brain's alarm bell for something is wrong. Pay attention now. When you touch a hot stove, this region fires fast and loud, demanding you pull your hand back before you even consciously register heat. When you're excluded, ignored, or rejected, that same region fires. Different trigger, same alarm, same urgency. This isn't just a theory dreamed up to sound clever. Psychologist Naomi Eisenberger ran a study built around something almost embarrassingly simple. People played a ball-tossing game while lying inside a brain scanner. At first, everyone got past the ball normally. Then at some point, the other players quietly stopped, including them. No explanation, no insult, just nothing. A tiny, almost silly kind of exclusion. But the brain scans told a much bigger story. The same regions that activate during actual physical pain lit up during that small social snub. Being left out of a made-up ball game in a lab with strangers activated the same alarm system as a physical injury. Not a similar system, the same one, which explains something you've probably felt but never had a word for. Why rejection doesn't just feel emotionally bad, it feels physically bad. A heaviness sitting in the chest, a hollow, dropped-out feeling in the stomach, an ache that has no exact location, no bruise you could point to, but is unmistakably there. Your brain isn't confused when this happens. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's telling you, in the only language it has, this matters, don't ignore it, fix this connection or go find a new one before it's too late. Here's where things get messier though. That ancient alarm system has no idea it's living in a modern world. It doesn't know that a message left on scene with no reply isn't a survival threat. It doesn't know that missing one invitation to one party doesn't mean you've been cast out of the tribe forever, with nowhere left to go. It doesn't know the difference between this person who matters to my entire future doesn't want me around, and this acquaintance is just busy today and will text back tomorrow. To your alarm system, exclusion is exclusion. It fires the same signal for a minor, forgettable slight as it would for something that, thousands of years ago, could have genuinely gotten you killed. That's the core of the mismatch. Your body's threat detector is extremely sensitive, which was exactly the point when the stakes of being ignored were enormous. But it was calibrated for a world where isolation meant real danger. And it hasn't updated its settings just because the world moved on. This is also part of why rejection lingers so much longer than the moment that caused it. You can get turned down for something small at 9 in the morning, and still feel a faint echo of it by 9 at night, replaying the exchange, wondering if you said something wrong. That's not a character flaw, and it's not you being overly sensitive. It's your alarm system refusing to stand down until it's confident the danger has fully passed. In much the same way physical pain keeps nagging at an injury long after the initial cut, right up until the wound has actually healed. There's a researcher named Kipling Williams who spent years studying exactly this kind of exclusion, and one of his consistent findings is how little it actually takes to trigger it. People report real emotional pain from being ignored by total strangers in situations that have zero real-world consequence. Being briefly left out of a pointless game, being ignored in a comment thread, none of it threatens anyone's actual survival. And yet the hurt shows up anyway, immediate and involuntary, because the system reacting to it is ancient and does not pause to check whether the threat is real before sounding the alarm. So what do you do with an alarm system that overreacts to modern, low-stakes moments using ancient, high-stakes wiring? You don't try to silence it completely. You probably can't. It's wired in too deep, too automatic, too far below the level of conscious choice for that. But you can start recognizing it for exactly what it is, rather than mistaking it for evidence about your worth or your relationships. The next time a small rejection knocks the wind out of you more than it should, you don't have to ask, "Why am I so weak?" or "Why can't I just get over this?" You can ask a more accurate question instead. Is this alarm firing because I'm actually in danger right now? Or because an old system is treating a small, forgettable moment like a life or death one? Most of the time, once you actually ask that question, the sting doesn't vanish completely. That would be asking too much of a system this deeply wired. But it does loosen its grip. You start to notice the gap between what your brain is screaming in the moment and what's actually happening around you. And that gap, small as it sounds, is where you get some of your control back. You stop treating every unanswered message and every quiet group chat as proof of something and start treating it as what it usually is: noise from an old system responding to a new world it was never designed for. So the next time you get left out of a group chat and something in your chest tightens like you got hit, you'll know exactly what that is. Not weakness, not oversensitivity, just an old alarm doing its ancient job in a world that has long since outgrown the danger it was built to warn you about.